Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're reacting to episode 5 of series 2 of Frieren, and episode 4 was just such a beautiful episode. From how it navigates young love and awkward first dates to honest revelations that pave the way for new romance. And the fact that we see Stark and Fern begin to let their guard down and open up to each other in the very same spot that Frieren gives Fern her birthday gift in series 1 is so very intentional. It's something I forgot to mention in the previous episode, so I'm using the intro to discuss it here. So in series 1, that moment between Frieren and Fern where she gives her the birthday gift is the moment that Fern realizes just how much Frieren is trying to get to know her and the effort she's making to not repeat the same mistake that she did with Himmel, of not showing just how valued and appreciated Fern is before it's too late. Frieren also comes to understand that she does care for Fern and is striving to continue to find moments for them to connect in a similar way. So, likewise, in series 2, we have Stark coming to realize just how much Fern appreciates his honesty, that he doesn't need to pretend to be anything that he isn't because who he is right now is enough for her. Fern also realizes the effort that Stark put into wanting her to enjoy herself, planning out the perfect venue and activities, much in the same way that Frieren tried to show her appreciation. And what I think is particularly significant is that all these events happen on a scenic balcony overlook, which heightens the symbolism in that balconies are often a literary device to show intimate space as a space for reflection because it represents a bridge between the public and the private. So the public is the outside world and its beauty, and the private is the personal relationships and the moments shared in its space away from anyone that may be watching. Both in series 1 and series 2, we have a sunset featured, which is symbolic of a quiet moment of connection and also reflection and a way of understanding how your relationship has changed and the dynamic is altered going forward. But we also have, in Stark and Fern's case, it being symbolic of potential passion, a passion that is simmering between them as they begin this new romantic journey, which means we're going to see more of Penguin walking Fern. So that's going to be really fun and really sweet, where she like walks with her hands on out on either side of her. It's just the cutest. But this sunset moment can also apply to Himmel and Frieren's flashback, where they're looking for the cat, which we again have a balcony and a sunset. The not date that was actually a date, technically. So Himmel's words, especially of even if things don't go as you'd hoped, you can still enjoy the process, are a profound reflection on not only their failed quests, but his relationship with Frieren too. Their relationship will never be what Himmel hopes it to be, but he can still enjoy the time that he spends with her and the memories they share, and that is enough to suffice him. Towards the end of the episode, we have the reiteration of the importance of home and connection. Frieren, Fern, and Stark all have lost their home as a result of war and conflict. In having their home and their connection to their people stolen from them, they understand more than anyone why people would want to cling on to it so tightly, so vehemently. So the fact that they wish to prevent anyone from having to suffer what they went through really hits the purpose of this show, in that our actions have an impact in this world and on the people around us. That in helping others and putting their needs above our own, we can make this world a better place. Because it's exactly what Himmel would do, and we need to be aware of that and attune to it and engage with it. But sometimes it's hard to do that. But essentially, the show just constantly reiterates to us the importance of our actions and the importance of ensuring that we help those in need. Yes, you can't always do so, but if you can and you have the means to, then it shouldn't be something that you shy away from, because it's only when we work together can we really make a difference. Before we begin this episode, I know you're watching, so if you've made it this far, please hit that subscribe button. It would be great to have you on this journey, and you might as well. You're already here and I'm watching you. But without further ado, let's get into episode 5, and I'm so excited.
酒場が多いですね。ここら辺は北部高原唯一の穀倉地帯だからね。昔から醸造も盛んなんだ。
Oh, we're gonna get a brewery tour?
ボースハフトってなんだ？
ハイター様から聞いたことがあります。その皇帝に献上された最上の名手だとか。
へえ。
フリーレン様のせいで飲めなかったと嘆いていました。
Poor Haita didn't get to drink something that was highly coveted.
この町には長居したくないから買い出しを済ませたら。
What the fuck?
100年ぶりだな。
Is that a leprechaun? Is it meant to be a leprechaun?
顔ぶれが変わっとるな。酒好きの兄ちゃんは一緒じゃないのか。
No, unfortunately not. So he's been around for a very long time because he remembers her old party.
一足遅かったか。
Oh, did he have the liquor that Haita wanted?
ボースハフトの所在が分かった。
ボースハフトと魔法に何の関係があるの？
Probably
それ
protected.
は分かる。
Oh, does Fern get to accomplish something that Haita always wanted to do? A way of connecting to her father.
わしが一人で掘ったんだ。ドワーフといえば甲府を思い浮かべ
Oh,
る
he's a
かもしれん。
dwarf?
一から勉強したんだ。俺も最上の名手のためよ。
パス。無類の酒好きでね。
Maybe
200
Haita.
年以上もかけてボースハフトを探し続けている。
God, that's dedication and perseverance. Especially the fact that he taught himself how to mine. I want to stay.
そして200年前、この石碑を見つけたことで、それが確信に変わった。
コ・エルフ語ですね。
That's why he needs
最上の名
Frieren's
手
help.
であることを称える碑文です。
ジョーちゃんは博識だな。その年で古エルフ語が読めるとは。
小さい頃、
I was gonna say, you couldn't really live with Frieren and not learn it.
半分は古エルフ語なんだから。
God
読めない
damn.
話にならないよ。
She's a taskmaster. Oh, baby Fern.
ここの碑文からボースハフトに捧げたわしの人生が始まったんだ。そしてそれはもう目と鼻の先にある。
I don't know why I thought he was a leprechaun. I think it's the hat and the beard. He kind of looked like a leprechaun. No, he's a dwarf.
解除に時間がかかるんだよ。
And she doesn't have that time to
私は
spare.
それを嫌がる。
その分報酬を出す。
魔導書。
金だ。来費金貨20枚出す。
Only 20? Is that a lot? I can't remember.
ボースハフトを飲むのはわしの夢なんだ。200年以上も探してきたんだ。
Oh, look at his little
だっても
face.
いいんじゃないですか。
そうだぜ。ハスのじいさんがかわいそうだ。
フリーレン様、金貨20枚ですよ。
Like it's not something to snub. Oh, it is a ton of money. Okay.
で
Feel
も
like it's
これ
not worth
解除するのに
considering.
3ヶ月はかかりそうだけど。短いじゃないですか。
お受けします。
どうなっても知らないよ。
You constantly talk about the purpose of silly adventures and how they mean something. This is just part of it. Time flows differently to an elf, but it's funny how she's begun to realize she can't waste time because they're humans. They don't feel time the same way. But now they're like, no, it's good. It's fine. We can spend 3 months. It's okay because they're learning to value the journey in a way that they didn't before.
ボースハフトはね、美味しくないんだ。人生をかけるほど価値
She's
がある
worried
もの
he's
じゃ
going
な
to be
い。
disappointed.
でも
It's not
自分には
something
エル
that
フの中にはね、
it's worth spending
とんで
200
も
years
ない
on.
暇つぶしをするやつもいるんだよ。
Cute.
リアル
I
では
love
い
the
つも
hair.
何もしないでぼーっとしているね。ねえフリーレン。人生をかけて探したものが何の価値もないゴミだった時のことを想像できる？やっぱりまずいわね。このお酒。
Like I wasted so much time on this.
即意識の時に配られた最低の安酒だね。私、この里に来る前に暇つぶしに碑文を彫ったの。それに何の意味があるの？意味なんて何もないわ。
So no sense of direction. But what if he really likes it? Then it did have purpose. It did have meaning, no matter how pointless she thought it was. if somebody else gains pleasure from it in the future, then it wasn't for nothing. I'll be really sad if he doesn't like it.
おお、保存状態も良好。
Oh my god, there's so much.
祝杯だ。お前らも飲め。
One person's pointless mission may not be meaningless to somebody else that pursues it. She's so scared that he's going to be
なぜ
sad.
ボースハクトを探すのを断
She
ったんです
didn't
か
want his feelings to get crushed.
もしも人生をかけて探したお酒がとんでもなくまずかったらどうする？
笑い飛ばします。まずい酒なんでしょ？ならみんなで楽しまないと。
Oh.
なんというか。
まずいね。今まで飲んだどの酒よりまずい。何様子見してるの？シュタルクも飲んでみな。
It's about sharing joy in the moment.
クソまず。本当にまずいな。
Oh, I'm so sad that it's terrible.
これだけあるんだ。
But not that they get to enjoy time with each other.
残念な
Misery is best shared.
こんなに楽しい夜は初めてだ。酒は楽しく飲むに限るな。
Oh, bless. He still found meaning in it, even if it wasn't the initial purpose. There was still joy and pleasure to be found. It's stale.
なあ、聞いたかこのパン、ごとって言ったぞ。
You could knock someone out with that.
少なくとも野営の時はこれが主食だよ。
悲しい。
He's like, I don't want to live like this.
いるかな？
Oh, it's a little seed rat.
立派な城塞としたな。
ノルム商会の所領だよ。ビーア地方の小麦を中心に様々な物資を扱って国家の手が及ばない。北部高原の人類圏
Formidable,
の
damn.
事実上の支配勢力だね。事情はわからないけど、時が経てばいろいろ変わる。もうノルム商会に前ほどの力はない。
Something's holding it up.
波風は立てないようにしないとね。
Famous last words. Her arrival is waves enough. Look at his little eyes. He's like, oh my god, is that really her?
少々お待ちを。
どうしたのでしょうか？
A wanted poster? She's like, we should not make waves. Wanted poster. Also, question. On the picture, who else was there? I have a feeling like one of the people we saw on there was in series 1 that Frieren... Yes! This one here, he looks like the guy that Frieren was asking about desserts for Fern's birthday in series 1 when she was like, where would be a good dessert place? And she was like in this underground area and they were like, we're connoisseurs of dessert. I'm pretty sure that that's him. That's so funny.
耳を揃えて返していただきましょうか。
Was there
フリーレン
interest?
様、借金なんてしていたんですか？ちょっとね、
How much is a little?
返すのはいつでもいいって。
書面上ではそうなっておりません。私はそうはいきません。
Oh no.
先々代のノルム教には世話になったからね。釣りはいらないよ。
How did they get so much
全
money?
く足りませんな。
鉱山で300年働くことになっちゃった。私の旅もここで終わりだね。というか、その格好は、カバンは
They confiscated her
借金の
belongings.
方に取られちゃった。
Oh no.
じゃあね、フェルン。
Oh, she's like, this is where my journey ends. He's like, what the fuck just happened?
残念ですが、あなた方にはどうしようもないことです。見なさい。
He's put interest on it, hasn't he? There has to be some legal
スト
loophole.
ライル金貨500枚以上ですね。
北側諸国で最も
See?
信用のある来費金貨換算でも300枚を超える。あなた方に都合できるのですか？
これは無理ですね。
Oh,
鉱山ってあまり好きじゃないんだよね。
took her earrings.
小会長から話は聞いております。フリーレン様。
Like, let me make this easy for everyone. This is so beautiful. Oh my god. She's gonna use this to buy her freedom.
まっすぐだね。
確かですね。
私を誰だと思っているの？
よしやるでも掘り進めるぞ。
Look at her not doing any mining. She got out of doing it. And she's like, I pointed the way. I don't need to do manual labor.
先々代のノルム教はこの不毛で貧しい北部高原に資金を投入して流通網を作り上げ、人々に安定した暮らしをもたらした英雄だ。当時何の期待もされていなかった私たち勇者一行に無期限で資金提供したのもノルム教。
Oh, because he was that good of a guy.
北部高原の物流、ひどいありさまでしょう。我々は魔族との戦いで武装大将と軍の3割を失いました。ノルム商会が国であったらとっくに滅んでいる。しかし我々は商会です。資金さえあればいくらでも立て直せる。
But they need the funds.
この鉱山は開発中のものです。銀行が見つかれば莫大な利益が出る。勇者一行の借金など帳消しにして有り余るほど。
That's why he wants her in the mine. It's an opportunity.
私に言うことを聞かせようってわけか。
To help his
流通網が完
people.
全に崩壊すれば多くの人が飢えて死にます。どうか北部高原の民をお救い
It's
ください。
exploitative, but what else can he do?
我々を助ければ北部高原の果て
She's
で
gonna
も
be so motivated at the idea of soft bread.
したたかなところはノルム教と変わらないね。まったくこれだから商人は。わかったよ。それで手を打とう。
She's like, I'll do it.
まさか本当に銀行が見つかるとはな。
She's like, guys, I'm back.
よかった。どう助けるか話し合っていたん
Didn't
だ
look
ぜ。
like it was going
今夜に
well.
は鉱山を襲撃する予定でした。それより二人ともこれからは柔らかいパンが食べられるよ。
どういうこと？
They're like, can you give us a hint as to what that's in relation to? They're like, we weren't in the mine. We don't know. We weren't there. I love that she doesn't mention that it was to do with actually saving the town from starvation, but it's all for soft bread. It's so Frieren. It's so her. What I really loved in this episode was the reiteration again of the elven life cycle. We have seen it in series 1, but in this episode, we got to see the sense of boredom that comes from spending so long a life in the pursuit of perfecting something and the emptiness that comes when that doesn't necessarily turn out the way that you want it to. But it's the way in which she talks about how elves go on these long journeys to not end up like her, to perfect something. And what she created wasn't perfect, but she still made something. There was still a purpose to it, in that she played a very long 200-year prank by basically saying it was the finest alcohol to ever be tasted. And eventually the joke paid off because it was laughed at with friends. So even though Fass spent so many years in pursuit of this goal, this aspiration that he's held on to, it's not a moment of sadness. It's a moment of happiness because it was shared with friends. It's not the fact that the alcohol was bad or that the outcome was bad. It's about who you share those moments with and being able to almost laugh at yourself too. He still achieved his goals because the goal wasn't about whether the alcohol was good or not. The goal was about drinking it when no one else had. That was the purpose, and he achieved it. So his goal was still fulfilled. There was still meaning and purpose to be found in it, even if Millard didn't see it as being worthy of a purpose, because it ended up not being something worthwhile. In her mind, it's not worth having spent so many years in pursuit of, but for Fass, it is because of the company that he gets to share it with. And so I still believe that my earlier point stands in that just because you believe something doesn't have purpose or meaning doesn't mean that someone else won't enjoy it or find benefit from it, because Fass was still able to gain something even though Millard thought it wasn't worth the time she spent, considering it was awful and horrible. But hey, look, her joke landed. It wasn't for nothing. Eventually, there was joy to be found in something that she thought was of no use, especially because she's just so incredibly bored. But how could you not be? This is the thing. Elves are around for so long that when you sequester yourself, you isolate yourself from the rest of the world because they are a very isolated community. Your pursuit is knowledge and the perfection of whatever it is that you've set your mind to. Of course, you're going to be bored when you actually achieve it, whether it's good or it's bad. I think the beauty is that unlike Millard and the other elves, Frieren and Kraft, yes, they both have their pursuits. Frieren's is collecting silly spells and grimoires, but both of them have involved themselves in humanity, have seen the way in which the world is changing and growing, and have become open to that. And I think that's the difference. They're not bored because there's always something new to experience and to see. Whereas for these elves that are sequestered, their only focus is the pursuit of what they've set their mind to, nothing else. They're not engaged with anything else. And then that's the issue they run into, is whether the outcome is good or bad. They're like, I've wasted all this time. She's bored. She's not sure what to do next. So she's listless. She's staring at nothing because she doesn't have any other goal, nothing else to set her focus on, which is, again, is very different to Frieren and to Kraft, who again are immersed in the human world. There is always something exciting happening, something of intrigue and interest to find. But it's this concept of time once more creeping in, that elves are alive for so long that they don't feel the decline of it. They don't feel it to the same degree as humanity. But Millard is almost showing that she's the exception. She's aware of how much time that she has spent on this, and she's almost fallen into kind of like an existential crisis, especially because what she spent that time on isn't worth it in her eyes. But just because it's not worth it to her and she doesn't find purpose or meaning in it, doesn't mean that it can't be enjoyed later down the line. The prank that she pulls by saying that it is something worth finding because it's the best alcohol around, something along those lines, had purpose and meaning to Fass, who dedicated his time to learning how to mine, who wanted to inevitably be the first to taste it, and he was. And we got to see quite a bit of Frieren's empathy here too, that the reason she didn't want to spend the time isn't because she's worried about the people in her party, it's because she doesn't want to crush his dreams. She knows that it's not good. She doesn't want his aspirations to fall short. She doesn't want him to fall into a similar state as Millard, where he's apathetic and disinterested in the world because this one thing that he's pursued all his life turns out to be not worth it. So that's why she's like, it's best shared by laughing it off, by sharing it with friends. That's what Haita taught her, that yeah, it might not have been good and I might feel a little bit silly, but we can laugh at it together. We can find amusement and joy in it, because then it's about the memory that we share, not so much about the alcohol being bad, about what I've set my sights on being not really worth it because the memory that you've created is worth it. That's the meaning, that's the purpose. I'm sure we've all had moments in our lives where we don't necessarily enjoy what we were doing, but the memory sticks because of who we were doing it with, because we got to share that memory with someone that we care about deeply, that we may have got into trouble or done something that we shouldn't have done. But instead of regretting that memory or finding it to not be have worth the consequences, you can find benefit in the fact that you shared it with friends, you shared it with someone that you admire, and that memory makes it joyful, makes it worth it. And in a way, it's also a good life lesson in terms of just because something turns out bad doesn't mean there's not a positive outcome to be found. So just because it wasn't what he was hoping for doesn't mean no good came from it. And I just love that he was like, let's go and share this with the rest of the village. It's shit, but let's go share it. I thought that was so amusing. Just the fact that he was like, well, there's enough to go around. I was hoping because it had been locked away for so long that maybe over time it had got better. But no, I just feel so sorry for Millard and can really appreciate how Frieren hasn't gone down that same path because of how exposed she is to the world in the way that the other elves weren't. She gets to have these silly little adventures and these moments with people that she's going to care about and to share these connections in a way that her fellow elves never got the chance to. That's why she's able to find meaning and purpose in it all and able to value the moment in a way that she maybe didn't value it previously because again she's learnt her lesson from Himmel. And it's just as well that she's gone from being an elf that was not concerned with time because obviously she's an elf, she has a long life cycle, and series 1 was that tension between her and Fern of Fern being like, we don't have enough time, and Frieren being like, yes, we do, because she doesn't understand that her concept of time doesn't match Fern's. Whereas now we have Frieren being very aware of time, being very aware that she doesn't want to hold them up any longer than is strictly necessary. But again, it does come down to that empathy. It's not wanting Fast to be disappointed. It's not wanting to hurt his feelings, to make him feel that his dream was for nothing. She doesn't want to crush that enthusiasm, that unbridled joy, but she doesn't, because in sharing that terrible drink, joy is created. That moment is memorialized, and the prank of Millard lives on. Her initial purpose that she thought had no meaning, that wasn't worth the time spent, ended up being of worth down the line, ended up having meaning to others. So just because she didn't think it was worth doing doesn't mean other people won't appreciate it. And again, I think it's a very good life lesson. I love as well that Frieren was able to find the silver ore, and that scene of her in the mine, and we had the almost galactic display around her was stunning. It seems really jarring considering the music is Frieren the Slayer, so it's usually when she's doing something epic in terms of fighting demons or pulling out badass magic. But in this scene, she's just locating ore. But when you understand why she's doing it, when it becomes known that it's to help this village and to establish the logistics again so that they can thrive and she can get soft bread, it's very clear that it is something epic. Even if initially it was a bit like, I don't quite understand why they're putting so much attention into this. Visually stunning, absolutely beautiful. But at the same time, I think it was very like, why is Frieren the Slayer music playing in the background? And it's because inevitably this does have a purpose in saving a town, in reasserting their ability to fend for themselves, to ensure that they can thrive and survive. And another aspect I've been really loving is seeing the generational. This is the, I believe, second time that we have seen someone from the north that Frieren has dealt with their ancestor. And I just find that such like a nice juxtaposition. Despite how much time has passed, despite the fact that she is now with another party, she is still hounded and harassed by the very same families that harassed her when she was with the party of heroes. She cannot escape them. But it's just, again, the reiterance of time, and that there is a cycle of human time that's very different to elven time, that there is a transition happening, that she's interacting with a different world than what she initially did. She's still following in the same footsteps, she's still interacting with the same families, but time has changed things. This place is no longer the bastion of logistics that it once was. This is now a town that is suffering, and she can help by finding ore to be able to give it new purpose. She's now meeting the grandson, I believe it was grandson, it was either grandson or great grandson of the person that loaned them money when she first set out with Himmel, Heiter, and Eisen. And she was like, I was going to pay it back. And she did pay it back through finding the ore. But she never intended to run from it. But she now meets the grandson. She gets to help him restore the town to its former glory. She gets to pay back the debt she owed to his great grandfather. So it's like a full circle moment. She's following back in her footsteps as a different person, as a changed person. She's appreciating the experiences she had with the party of heroes through this new party, this new adventure. I think that's all I want to say for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. Until next time, bye.